you had no idea where that was. Redemption, Red Dead Redemption 2, let's go. Oh my god. It's okay, we're gonna have lots of practice this year. We're gonna have lots of practice. The National Hockey League has finally announced the 2021 NHL season with a bunch of details and asterisks. Couple things before we start. This is the Leaf wall. I was going to use my NHL wall, but it is currently a mess because of a video I made. What video, Steve? Can't tell you yet. It's coming out Christmas Day on the Sportsnet YouTube channel, and it's going to be over an hour long. Second, Montreal Canadiens fans going, where's the Habs video you promised, Steve? It's coming. In fact, I was going to make it tonight, and then the NHL decided, hey, let's drop some news. There was a lot to digest. I'm going to try to get most of it. Let's take a look. First and foremost, Elliotte Friedman, the NHL and NHLPA officially announced agreement to play 56 games. The best outcome if you're a hockey fan is as much hockey as possible, and 56 games is more than I expected. For a couple months now, February 1st has been the rumored date. The NHL kept saying January 1st. January 13th then leaked, and people were thinking the 15th, but some of the pessimists were saying, it's probably still going to be February. Keeping in mind that the 2013 lockout-shortened season began mid-January, and that season was only 48 games. So how is the season going to start in February and be longer than that? 56 is wonderful, considering it was about 70 for most teams this year. Now, we don't know the dates of any of those 56 games yet for your team, but Cap Friendly has collected all the most important dates as they pertain to all the other fun stuff. That includes teams arriving to training camp, the trade deadline on April 12th, the season ending on May 8th, and the playoffs beginning a few days later on May 11th. The buyout period beginning 24 hours after the playoffs end, whenever that is. The expansion draft July 21st. Remember that? Seattle Kraken? July 23rd and 24th is the entry draft, and July 28th is the beginning of free agent madness. So you're going to get your calendar for Christmas, and then you're going to write all those dates down in it. Or if you're giving a calendar as a gift to somebody, you can write all those dates in it and then hand it to them. Whoa! Very important from Chris Johnston. The entry-level slide threshold for teenagers drops to 7 games in 2021, as Elliotte Friedman reported, while 27 games on the roster becomes what a skater needs to earn an accrued season towards unrestricted free agency. So, for example, Leafs fans, the big hubbub with Rasmus Sandin last season is he going to play his 10th game? Well, now the magic number is 7 for Nick Robertson, and he is trying to make this team. He's been in Canada since May without leaving. He's here to win. He's here to make it. This got a lot of people's attention. Training camp, 36 skaters, and unlimited number of goalies. Now that's for training camp. Something a little bit more practical from CJ. NHL teams are required to carry at least 3 goalies at all times this season between the active roster and taxi squad. And this is very interesting because without the Newfoundland Growlers as an ECHL team for the Leafs this season, and not really knowing where the Marlies are going to play or when they're going to play or any of that, the Leafs do sort of have a 3-goalie situation. They have Frederik Andersen, Jack Campbell, and Aaron Dell, who was the Sharks' backup last season, and he wants to be the Leafs' backup this season. He's not satisfied being the 3rd goalie. And it's extra interesting because the 3-goalie situation often isn't a comfortable one. The Rangers have toyed with it. The Islanders did a few years ago. Remember they had JF Berube just chilling there, and he never played. Now, in the broader scope of things, why is the season starting in January? Why is it 56 games? What's with all this change? Have you heard of the pandemic? So wait a minute then. The NHL season beginning means everything's okay and all the governments have signed off on teams can play in their own buildings, right? No, very much no. No. From CJ, while the NHL still aims to play games out of the home arena for each team, it says the league will be prepared to play games in one or more neutral site venues per division should it become necessary. Basically, okay, all these NHL teams have agreed, yeah, we'll play, but they need sign-off from different levels of government in a bunch of different places in 2 different countries. And for the Vancouver Canucks, the British Columbia government has been taking a lot of heat, but very important note here from Frank Saravalli, there's been a lot of focus on British Columbia health officials not signing off on the NHL's protocols, but hearing that province is not alone. Both Ontario and Quebec have also not signed off for the Habs, Leafs, and Senators to host games. Talks expected to continue early this week. Pretty noteworthy considering we have this new North Division, they're calling it, the All-Canadian Division, featuring all 7 Canadian teams. But despite the fact that there's only 7 Canadian teams in there, there are 3 provinces housing 4 NHL teams that have not yet signed off on those NHL teams playing games, home games, in their own arena. Now, the NHL season doesn't start for a few weeks, so just because they haven't been signed off on yet doesn't mean that they won't be. But right now, they aren't. So yesterday you might have been shaking your fists at the government of British Columbia, and now you might be shaking your fist at various governments around Canada. Well, it's not just a Canadian issue. Once again from CJ, Sharks GM Doug Wilson confirms that the San Jose Sharks will hold training camp in Scottsdale, Arizona on December 31st, New Year's Eve. He says they hope to return to San Jose for the start of the regular season, but aren't yet sure if it will be allowed. The Sharks may have to play out of a hub city or use another NHL team's arena for games, according to GM Doug Wilson. A lot still up in the air. So it's a 31-team league, and 5 NHL teams do not have confirmed homes as of today. Now, lots and lots can change. They could all have an arena to play in by January 13th, or maybe the first 2 months, they have to play in a hub city. Who knows where that is, and then they're allowed to play home games in their own building. And we're talking home games in an empty building. The Dallas Stars, supposedly, might have as many as 5,000 people in there, and they had people at watch parties during the Stanley Cup final as well. Social distance and everything. But 5,000 is a lot more than 0. I know, breaking news. I went to school to get that smart. David Pagnotta says 2 NHL clubs are already anticipating having fans in home arenas for the start of the season. The Dallas Stars around 5,000, like I just said, and the Florida Panthers. In Tampa, the NBA's Toronto Raptors, which, God, what a weird sentence, will have up to 3,800 fans in the arena. So far, the Lightning haven't made a determination yet. I have a hard time believing that the Toronto Raptors, who don't even actually play out of Tampa Bay regularly, will be allowed to have fans. Meanwhile, the Tampa Bay Lightning will not be able to. That just sounds ridiculous. So there's all sorts of things that need to be signed off on. And then there's the fact that just because games are being played in a place and maybe not allowed in another doesn't make the place where the games are being played more safe than the place that is not allowing them. For example, the building in Arizona does not have this magical anti-COVID-19 force field that the arena in San Jose does not. We basically got different levels of government in different cities, different provinces, different countries, deciding what isn't safe based on the advice of medical experts. I know it's hockey. Yay, hockey's back and everything, but we do got to talk about the seriousness of all this, because if we don't, we're not going to get a season at all. Anyone from Ontario knows this, but a lockdown was just announced that's going to begin Christmas Eve morning. I know Eve makes it confusing, but it's going to be Christmas Eve morning. Why is there a lockdown in Ontario? Well, because there's a ton of cases. Why is he talking about this? I thought this was a hockey video. The whole reason there hasn't been hockey is because of this thing. COVID. Have any of you watched Jurassic Park? Like the first one? Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. Can this be done? Of course it can. I think it can be. It helps that the NHL and NHLPA actually agree on something, which is one of the bigger miracles in this whole process. And you go, well, look at the NFL. They're doing games right now, and the MLB. And some people might say, sure, they've been able to play games, but it's been a bit of a gong show. And the undeniable fact that yesterday's reality and today's reality are not necessarily tomorrow's reality. Things change very fast, we have learned over the last 9-10 months. But I'm just trying to cover all the bases and cover as much of this as possible. Let's, from now on, for the rest of this video, assume the NHL is going to continue, that they're going to start their season, and everything is going to be fine. Assuming that's how it goes, what's the season going to look like? Well, okay. We have the important dates that was there from Cap Friendly. We know it's going to be 56 games. We know they're going to try to have all the teams play their home games in their home rink. We know there's an all-Canadian division, the North Division, but what are the other ones? From the NHL PR account, we obviously have the North Division, Calgary, Edmonton, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Vancouver, Winnipeg. Oh, I cannot wait. 9 or 10 games between every Canadian team. Yes, please, always. The West Division, Anaheim, Arizona, Colorado, LA, Minnesota, San Jose, St. Louis, and Vegas. So the top 4 teams come out of each division. I would assume that Vegas, St. Louis, and Colorado run away with the top 3 spots in that division. Spot number 4 is jump ball. We gotta stop saying that in hockey. It's a face-off. The Central Division is Carolina, Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Detroit, Florida, Nashville, Tampa. Holy. First of all, how hilarious is it that both teams that made it to the Stanley Cup final are now in the same division? Second of all, Tampa is going to spank that division. Holy. And finally, maybe the most stacked division there is, the East. Boston, Buffalo, New Jersey, the New York Islanders, the New York Rangers, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Washington. Yeah, baby. As a neutral observer, oh, do I love that division. Listen, the North Division, the All-Canadian division, those teams don't like each other just by making eye contact. But this Metro Division is just full of teams that hate each other, and they're adding the Boston Bruins, which are one of the most irritating teams in the entire league, and they've played basically all of those teams in the playoffs in recent memory. And the Buffalo Sabres. So like I said, Taylor Hall fans, the trade deadline is April 12th. Okay. Now, it's a 56-game season. It's super weird. There's a lot that can happen over the next few weeks, and there's a bunch of free agents still available. But let me take a stab at the top 4 in each division just off the top of my head. In no particular order, in Canada, the North Division, I got the Flames, Oilers, Leafs, and Habs. I tried to put Winnipeg in there. I just got a hunch. In the West, I got Colorado, Vegas, and St. Louis, like I already said. I'm gonna put Minnesota as the 4th, but don't sleep on San Jose. I don't think they're gonna be as bad as they were last year. No way. In the Central, even though they contain several teams that actually touch the Atlantic Ocean, I like Tampa and Dallas. Obviously, they both went to the final. Carolina's a really good team, and I'm gonna say Florida. I really hesitate with Florida, though. I think Columbus is gonna make a big move in free agency coming up. You watch. I like the Islanders, although they took a hit losing Devon Toews and also Johnny Boychuk. I like the Bruins, even though they took a hit losing Torrey Krug and potentially Zdeno Chara. He's not signed yet. I like the Rangers. They took a hit by adding Jack Johnson, and I like the Penguins. No, but how am I not going to have the Caps in there? Or the Flyers. This is such a good division. Oh, man. Flyers, Pens, Caps, Bruins. Oh, that's tough. Isles took a few hits on D, rookie goalie. You never know. He might lead them to the promised land, or it might be a tough first season. It's good that it's not easy to pick. That's why we watch the games, isn't it? Who do you think the top 4 teams are going to be? Leave a comment in the comment box down below, or at very least tell me who the best team in Canada is going to be. Doesn't talking about hockey feel great? Listen, the NHL did not announce that they were going to have this amazingly easy season with no problems at all. All they did was announce that there's gonna be a season. So until I'm told otherwise, I'm excited. Hockey is coming back in a big way. Yes, I've gotten some tweets recently. Hey, there's been some college hockey, there's been some KHL. Yes, there has been, but this is the National Hockey League, the World Juniors right before it, the NWHL coming out right after, OHL potentially in the wings, AHL potentially in the wings. Help is on the way, puckheads. I cannot wait. This is the best present I could have asked for. How did you know? So with that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell your friends. January 13th.